Gio.
Hi, Phil.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So Gio's got a question. Gio sent me some questions, and I've got them in front of me just in case he's forgotten. But the question that Gio was asking me was, what are you thinking whilst you play and whilst you make that beautiful sound? What's going on in your head?
Ultimately, there should be nothing going on other than sing, sing, sing.
Okay.
If there's any thought process going on, that's probably not a good idea, because the thought process can turn into it can not just be a positive thought process, it can be a negative thought process. Sure. It can be, and especially when you're in the business of having to do things multiple times, you know, maybe you had a bad performance on one go around, and so now when you're coming up to your cack note moment, you don't want to be going, oh golly, here comes the cack note moment, because all that does is self-prophesy. And so, as I tell my kids, you need to be singing. Literally, there's a silent Gabriel singing up here. You are singing to your Gabriel, and I've stolen that, to be quite honest, from Vince Panzarella, who was my second trumpet cohort, who often referred to that as, we need to play to our Gabriel. And I thought that's brilliant. Now, whoever that Gabriel is for you, so if you're playing a concerto, it may be that you heard your favorite, Wynton Marsalis do it that way, or Maurice Andre, you know, whoever your favorite soloist is, and you're singing what you heard up here in your mind. Your mind singing that. You're not listening to you. You're not listening and going, boy, I sound great. No, that's a negative, because you live with that cockiness, you'll die with that cockiness. So you're singing to your Gabriel all the time. That's what should be going on.
Okay. And how did you deal with Mark? You know, you talked about Mahler 5 and your pictures at an exhibition, you know, so the orchestra are giving the A and you're sitting there on the stage and you're just waiting and waiting. How did you deal with that as a player, as a performer? What was...
You've got it. And in my mind, it's people, we often talk about sports figures that get into their quote unquote game face. Mm-hmm. All of us are different. When I'm uptight, I tend to go solemn and quiet. Other people go loud and giddy.
Sure.
But for me, it was there. But your process has to be one of remembrance of what you've done, remembrance of positive thought, like you know. Heck, if you're going to be playing bum ba dum bum, and every practice session you've come up with a seventh instead of an octave, well then before you play, you're going to be sweating bullets. So you have to build from confidence. You have to know that you can do this. You've had to have sorted out, how am I getting through this? Where am I breathing? What do I have to do to make this come off? If I have to take, you know, I often tell my kids, sometimes you have to set yourself up and play something in some way that helps you get through it, and you refer to it as style. But it helps, you know, I need a breath here, so I'm going to lead into this breath and I'm going to go out of this in a certain way. And it's consistency. And that's the other thing I learned from her. So it's consistency. He played it the same way every time. I knew what he was going to do. You knew where he was going to breathe. You knew where he was going to crescendo. You knew where he was going to grow. You knew what was going on. And it's that consistency that gets you through all of these patches.
It's incredible.